Hey, I'm Lisa Faye, and today I'm going to show you how to make this lighted, I don't know what you would even call this. This is just a holiday decor item. This is a hanging three-dimensional like globe wreath. I got the wreath form from the Dollar Tree, and I was really excited to try this project because I had this idea for it. This uses battery-powered lights, and I put pine cones on here too. Really easy and fun to make, and is a really fun hanging decoration for really any sort of space within your home where you can hang something. If you're new here to the channel, can you please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button really quick? I would really appreciate it. If you're interested in more holiday wreath DIYs, please check out my other videos here on the channel. All right, let's get started. Here is the 3D wreath form. I bought this at the Dollar Tree, like I said before, and it comes with 4 attached hoops. They're like circular hoops that just kind of interlock with each other, and you have to use these little circular kind of like metallic, thin metallic pieces in order to attach them together. And I was a little bit afraid that I was going to slice my fingers doing this because they are a little bit on the sharp side, but I was not injured in this process. When you finally attach them, they're really sturdily put together, which was a surprise to me. I used this garland from Joann's. It was 25 feet, and I purchased it for around $4, and it was more than 50% off because originally I think it was around $10. And I cut it into lengths that were maybe 4 feet long or so, 3 to 4 feet long, and just so that it was a little bit easier to work with. And I just started wrapping. I started at the top of each of the sections of the hoop and just wrapped it around the wires over and over again. This really didn't take too long to do, maybe 20 minutes to do the entire wreath. It was pretty simple, and there's a lot of room for error on this as well. Don't worry about if there's little gaps in how you're attaching it. Like, you can see that it looks a little bit wavy in some spots, and you can also see up close when you're working on it that there will be some sections of exposed wire. Don't worry about this at all because you're going to be putting the little tiny pine cones on there and also the lights, so it's going to camouflage all of that. And also the wire frame is painted like a dark greenish color, so it kind of camouflages itself into the greenery as it is. So this was so simple to do, and I just kept on wrapping and wrapping, and when I got to the end of one of the lengths that I had pre-cut, I just twisted that together with the end of a new piece of greenery, and you can't even tell in the end. It just seamlessly blends together. There's so much going on that there really is a lot of room for forgiveness on this type of a project, and that's what made it so easy, is that if things aren't perfect, that's totally fine. This is art, this is a project. I took the little bit of remaining greenery at the end and formed it into a circle at the top of the wreath form, and I actually ended up making another circle to go through that. These are pine cone on wire that I bought from the Dollar Tree, and here I am just cutting the wire because I didn't want to use it as a garland. I wanted to use them more along the lines of what you would use a floral pick for if you're creating a regular wreath. So I just cut the pine cones individually off of this garland, and I left a little bit of a couple inches on either side of the wire so that I could twist it around the wreath form. And I didn't really plan this out like too much. I didn't want it to be like too evenly spaced. I was just kind of placing them however I saw fit. And I wanted to put some of them off to the side a little bit. I didn't want them to be all symmetrical or straight on or too matching because I wanted it to have like a little bit more of an organic feel to it and just to look a little bit better. Sometimes, you know, when you're making something, you don't want it to be completely symmetrical, completely even, because the more organic you can make it look and the more uneven you can make it look, sometimes it just looks better. I mean, I know I've always heard like the expression that things look better in odd numbers versus even numbers, and I was kind of just rolling with that. So here I am with these little battery-powered fairy lights. And these are the super, super tiny lights that are on the little wires. They're super pliable, easy to work with. I pull the tab for the batteries, and you want to make sure you test your lights before you attach them to your frame. Always test your lights, because nothing is worse than putting up lights, then plugging them in and finding out that they don't work. So test them before you start using them. I then just wrapped them not super tightly, but not super densely, but I just wrapped them around the wreath form, kind of like I did with the greenery. And I just went up and down and really just tried to make sure that I didn't have more lights on one section than on another section. I tried to keep it kind of evenly spaced, and I don't know, I think it was pretty easy to do. This really wasn't that difficult. You'll get the hang of it if you start doing it. Here I am with a second battery pack of lights, and it's really hard to tell, but I kept the battery packs at the top of the wreath form when I was working on this project. You can see the battery packs right there, the white ones hanging down from the top. And I just left about 6 to 7 inches of slack at the top with the wires. You can see them kind of hanging and dangling from the top there on the inside of the wreath form. And I wasn't worried about that at this point of the project. I was just letting it do its thing. Towards the end there, I wrapped them around a few times and stuck them in the little loop that I made at the top earlier in the project. And that's what I used to hold and camouflage the battery packs. I then took another section of greenery and wrapped it around that section, not only to help camouflage the battery packs because they're white and they do stand out a little bit, but also to hold them in there and keep them in place so that they don't fall out as you have this decoration up in your home. And here's what the finished product looks like. I'm really happy with how it turned out. They're really easy to reach and just turn them off. There's 3 battery packs that I used for the entire thing. Really easy. It looks nice even when the lights aren't on. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye.